make sure that all of the obstructions on the airport are clear. He also flies on the weekends. This is his first air show as well, flying the Cascade Warriors. Then last but not least, we have Steve Baldwin in that white Navion. He is an airplane and power plant mechanic. Does his own work on his own airplanes and helps everybody else in the Cascade Warriors with theirs as well.
So Kirsten, I noticed that you also are a certified pilot and you've been flying.
Okay, so today we're going to be doing some passes in front of the crowd. So we'll be coming from the left side to the right. Each airplane is going to come individually in front of the crowd for about 4 different passes. And then just to show off
this is a free flight.
The airplanes, both the side, the top, the bottom. So, first down the line is Dave Desmond in that really beautiful 1947 Ryan Navion. You can see one of the modifications that he made on that is those tin tanks on the edge of the wings. Those are not stock. Then we have Drew Blaze in the Marchetti. Drew also does his own air show act with that airplane. Unfortunately, he's not going to be showing off the aerobatics, but he is flying with us. Then we have the CJ6, and you can hear the difference in the engine as it flies by. That's because that aircraft has a radial engine versus the inline engine that all the other airplanes have. Then that beautiful IAR, Maggie is ways to say hi to everybody. And now Dan Shoemaker in that gray stock Navion, followed by Steve Baldwin. It's his Navion, which was flown by a NASA astronaut who has actually signed the side of that airplane. So when you come by after we land, bring the planes back out to the flight line, you can see the signature of the astronaut on the side of the airplane. And here we have Dave again, and what you'll see is that smoke coming from the aircraft, that is intentional. He has a smoke system in there. And you can lay down a line of smoke from the engine, perfectly harmless. You can see with other aircraft today as well. Drew does the same thing. Keep yourself in the crowd and people behind to see where the aircraft is a little bit better. And that is the Nanchang, again, a basic trainer. So these two planes, the Nanchang and the IAR, different in they have the same purpose. They're designed to take the pilot from never having such an airplane before to being ready to fly a jet for their country's Air Force. So again, a little bit more about the Cascade Warbirds organization owners.
Okay, we have some people that we want to recognize for the Princess Quest. They even have a BBY Catalina on display, just like the one here in the performing show. So make sure you visit this museum this summer. Our mission is to preserve the history and heritage of naval aviation in the Pacific Northwest and tell the stories of people stationed at the bases along the Pacific coast from World War II and beyond, and to preserve the memories of those who served in onboard aircraft in the Pacific Northwest. So there's a great flight photo opportunity. We're on the ground with some UH-1 and Hueys flying overhead. Make sure you get a picture. The Olympia Robotics Federation is a high school robotics team. The federation is comprised of 3 schools in the local area. We have Olympia High School, Capital High School, and Avante High School. And during the season, they build refrigerator-sized robots that race against the field to complete tasks. You'll see this year's competition booth, their robot at the booth. And they also feature a couple of toaster-sized robots for anyone to try their skill at driving. This is the 5th year at the Olympia Air Show. So visit their booth in the hangar to learn more about summer camp opportunities and where your students can learn how to build and repair robots. Going to pick on one of these rotary wings to race against. Looks like he's getting staged to head out onto the runway. It's going to catch him, and we'll see what happens. Get a race going here. It's going to turn around and stage one more time.
Yeah, there you go, Brian again in that Cobra. Of course, most of you know that's from the Vietnam era. That helicopter is approaching 60 years old. It's just hard to believe because guys in my opinion, you look at that thing and it's like, watch this. This is awesome. Watch what happens here. And Cobra's playing in that smoke, and then there's Brian coming over again. Absolutely awesome.
So if you can't find something in that menu, wow, there's a lot to offer there. Come on over, get yourself a treat, say hi. They've Korea La Espinada, a popular local food truck eatery service, including bars, portas, fish tacos, chili rellenos, carne asada, fajitas, etc.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Ross Bradley in the P40. And right behind him is going to be Mike Oliver in the Erickson Collections PDM. We talked about Ross quite a bit earlier. We talked about Mike a little bit. Listen to that. That is amazing. And look how quickly at altitude now he's going to stick the nose down. He's going to get all the energy he can out of that. Remember when Pearl Harbor happened, there were only a handful of these P-40s on the island at that time, and they went out and did the best they could to defend against the Japanese forces. Ross Bradley and the P-40. That's a beautiful cat. Now listen to the difference in the sound of the engine with this big heavy radial that's in the TBM, and you notice that P-40 had an inline engine in it. Lead, the P-40 is joining up on it. They're going to make what's called a banana pass formation.
Get your camera ready. This is a great photo opportunity to see these two together.
No, we have total. Here we go. and guess 7,500 of them by General Motors. Here we go.
Opportunity here, flying right at us.
Which used to be real close to right now. They would have been flying with absolute, heavily large airplanes. Yeah, he is set up just exactly like they would be set up. Of course, the man on the carrier, and he's going to be looking just for about that 500-foot mark or so. If you look at the windsock, the orange thing there, you should be touching down just slightly beyond that. Now that airplane right now in this wind is approaching, that's maybe 70 miles an hour. Wheels are coming on. And you can even a light airplane like that. And the TDM, I'm not sure how much oil that thing carries, but it takes a long time to work.
But he's been part of the show from the beginning. Let's get on to the Huey here. This is a ex-Vietnam UH-1 made by Bell. Same as the one that we were flying with the Cobra earlier. They've converted it to firefighting, which has extended the life of these helicopters. These helicopters were originally built in the 60s. As you can see, they're performing well today. The DNR sets these up to respond to fires within 10 minutes. They're staggered all over the state. They have so in the beginning of your fuel cycle, your heavier level of fuel, you'll generally pull a little less water, and then as you get to the end of the fuel cycle, you'll exchange that weight and increase your payment. This time he's going to do a spot drop coming with the tank. Runs the siren to give you a warning so you don't stand underneath that because you don't want to get hit by this blast of water. Quantity he's holding is about the average of a 6-person hot tub. That there's about 2,500 pounds of water.
Brian, when you were racing Bill,
See how fast it retanks that thing. It only takes about a minute to actually fill that tank. There's the warning. Warning is don't be underneath it. That's a line drop. That's what you get when you got grass on fire. See how
and Bill Shepard, pull it, Bill, pull. Most likely going to be a high-speed maps, and I believe the speed of these are something like 100. Oh, again, it's up manifest, and hopefully showing you the top and just how long that wing is. Now Brian's in the helicopter now, and he actually can't hear me.
Looks
And
like
the
a
truth
flying
about
bumblebee.
helicopters is they don't fly. They're just so ugly, the earth repels them. For you to fly helicopters, I apologize.
Collectibles display in this year's air show. You can find this display on the grass area next to the food court. Friends of Willie and Joe Living History Group. They were established in 1994, and this Living History Group is sanctioned by Bill Malden, the World War II cartoonist and creator of Willie and Joe, the Frontline GIs, in his work. Also in the grass. And we love being involved in the community, and we like that they're attending the air show with the Olympia Master Builders and donating to local auctions every year. All right, Brian's up and away.
Видишь, круто.
So the hh43 Husky, top speed of 120 miles an hour. It's got a range of 185 miles. So here comes Brian from left to right. Expecting to come in and slow down, square up to the crowd. Maybe the next pass.
Well, you're going to be watching for really smooth precision flying. The whole idea here is to never swap paint. They're flying about 10 to 15 feet apart. They're maneuvering. Everything is done with precision and the utmost trust in your fellow pilots. And the way you get here is you fly a lot, you fly with each other a lot, and you check in all the time. But they don't check in verbally, because this formation flying was developed during the war where you didn't want to be talking on the radio much, because that'd give away your position. So they use hand signals. They'll do a fist pump. The lead will do a fist pump to tell another plane.
Garages and hangars, and they have a tremendous sense of pride in their equipment. All these routines you'll see.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, as teammates who first passed by, I want you to take a look at that smoke. And you can see how hard that wind is blowing up there. You know, we're getting...
Washington coming in for the first pass, and you get a nice camera view, so make sure you get your cameras ready. This is going to be a great picture. Mike Oliver running this one today.
Off on the inside is the p51 and the b17 on the outside. Now,
Yeah, base price 50 to a
I'll hush you for a second, but I want you to take a look at this, and then we'll talk a little bit more. You know, sitting anyway, the b17 should be captured by an experience in a sec. We think Ross should be sitting up there.
All right, some more now.
You can see they've got the jet car out there, but also the B-17 is shut down now. The crew, Mike Oliver, and those guys are coming across the ramp. There'll also be a few minutes good end, but Mike, great job, buddy. So everybody please, the B-17 and Mike Oliver. Pretty talented guy, huh? Flying a TBM and a bomber, and he's also capable of flying, you know, the P51. They've got a Hellcat, they got a Wildcat, they got a Corsair. That guy flies them all. Anyway, get a chance to talk to him. He's personable and approachable. So anyway, Mark Peterson in the Alpha Jet on the roll. That's the front wing on that. I'm gonna just put those wings on.
So keep in mind this is a military aircraft designed for combat and ground attack role. The Alpha Jet carries a 27mm cannon in a centerline pod. Mark Peterson, his Alpha Jet was acquired from the German Luftwaffe in 2004, where it served as a ground attack fighter. So on his first pass, Mark's going to begin at 350 miles an hour, performing 6G pull to vertical, followed by a 180-degree turn over the top at less than 150 miles an hour. And note the change in the smoke trails as the wing works through a wide range of speed and G's. All right, here he comes. Right to left.
Even at 6 Gs. Beautiful smoke trail so you can follow along. So as I talked earlier, Mark and I was collaborating on a few things. You know, he's not only looking out the window, of course, when he flies the airplane, it sounds kind of silly, but he's actually watching his instruments in there too, because as he pulls, the bottom is looking for 6 Gs. And he knows his speed he's got at the bottom. When he gets to the top, he's literally looking at his altimeter right now, and he's made the decision he can pull through. And you know, the reason for that is, you know, it's just simple, geometry. If you're going to do a loop, when you get to the top of that thing, here's a roll. That's called the tuck under roll, and it's really fun to do. You roll it once and then 3/4 tells him that when he pulls through, he's got the altitude to make sure that when he gets back to the surface, right where he's flying right now, literally at the surface, that he's got enough of maneuver. Now that turn right there, he's at 6 Gs. He's going to keep it inside the perimeter of the airport. And you're seeing kind of the same maneuvers we saw earlier with the piston power. You notice, but the speeds that he's doing at, he did that maneuver was flown at probably 300 to 350 knots. So when he banks that airplane over, he's got to maintain at least 6 to 7 Gs. And I'd have to talk to him. That may have been even closer to 8. And the reason for that is to keep that radius tight, falls at 100 knots. So when he's pulling 8 Gs, there's a factor in there. So his new stall speed on that turn was probably close to 300 knots. So he's just maybe 30 to 40 knots above the stall speed when he does that. So it's a very critical maneuver. Now he slowed the airplane up, and it was mentioned earlier, there's no slats on this airplane. So now he's showing you how slow you can fly the airplane. That's pretty efficient. I think. On the body, when you start pulling these, heavier Gs. Yeah, you see that little pitch up? See that good speed, I got good altitude, so I can stack and pull through and have plenty of cushion at the bottom. You just get that airplane putting as much energy in it as he can get.